The space station Virex Prime floated silently near the dark edge of alien territory. It was one of the largest stations in the sector. Long metal halls, cold white lights, and walls that never showed age. Many alien species passed through it every day, but humans were always noticed. Not because they were important, because they were small. Humans were allowed here only for work. Cleaning crews, engineers, repair teams. They were never invited to the upper levels. Never allowed near royalty. Never spoken to unless needed. Ethan Cross had learned that lesson early. He kept his head down. He did his job, and he never caused trouble. Ethan worked as a systems technician. His job was simple. Fix power lines, replace broken panels, and move on before anyone important noticed him. That night, he was alone in Corridor 17. The hallway was narrow and quiet. The lights above flickered softly as he opened a wall panel. Sparks jumped when he touched a loose wire. "Great!" he muttered. He adjusted the tool in his hand and leaned closer. That was when the lights went out. Not slowly. Instantly. Darkness filled the corridor. Ethan froze. Power cuts happened sometimes, but not like this. The station always kept emergency lights on. But now nothing. Only silence. Then he heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Calm. Measured. They were not the heavy steps of guards. Not the rushed walk of workers. These steps carried confidence. Ethan's heartbeat grew louder in his ears. He turned his wrist light on. The narrow beam showed the metal floor, then stopped. Someone was standing behind him. A tall figure stepped into the light. She wore armor made of dark gold metal, smooth and old, marked with symbols Ethan did not recognize. Her long silver-white hair was braided with care, falling over her shoulders like woven light. A thin crown rested on her head. Ethan's breath caught in his throat. He knew who she was. Everyone did. Princess Lyra Vale. Heir to the Vale Dominion, the most powerful alien empire in this part of the galaxy. She was not supposed to be here, and she was definitely not supposed to be standing alone in a worker's corridor. Ethan stepped back. I'm sorry, he said quickly. This area is restricted. I didn't know. She raised one hand. He stopped speaking at once. Her eyes glowed faintly, not with anger, but with something deeper. Curiosity. Focus. She studied him as if he were not a worker, but a question. Ethan lowered his gaze. Looking directly at royalty was dangerous. The silence stretched. Too long. Then she took one step forward. And another. Ethan's back touched the cold wall. She stood very close now. Close enough that he could see small lines in her armor. Close enough to hear her breathing slow and calm. Then she leaned toward his ear. Her voice was soft, almost gentle. I've been watching you, human. Ethan's eyes widened. His mind went blank. Watching him? His hands tightened around his tool. I think you're mistaken, he said. I'm nobody. I just fix systems. She did not move away. Instead, she spoke again. So quietly that the walls almost swallowed her words. You wake at the same time every cycle, she said. You carry old human music in your device. You stop working when you think no one is looking, and stare at the stars. Ethan felt cold spread through his chest. No one should know those things. No cameras were allowed in the lower halls. No one ever followed him. He swallowed. How do you know that? He asked. The princess finally stepped back. She looked at his jacket pocket. The photo, she said. Ethan's breath stopped. He slowly placed a hand over his chest pocket. Inside was a small, worn picture, his mother and sister back on Earth. He never showed it to anyone. Never. You keep it close, Lyra continued. Even when inspections happen. Even when humans are told to carry nothing personal. She looked up at him again. You hide it well, she said. But not from me. Ethan's mind raced. This was impossible. A princess had no reason to care about a human worker. Unless fear rose in his stomach. Am I in trouble? He asked. For the first time, her expression changed. Not anger. Not pride. Concern. No, she said softly. Not yet. That answer scared him more than any threat. She turned slightly, as if listening to something only she could hear. Then she spoke quickly. They are beginning to ask questions about you. Who is they? Ethan asked. The council, she replied. His heart dropped. The High Council ruled the entire empire. If they knew his name, his life was already in danger. I didn't do anything, Ethan said. I know, Lyra replied. That is what frightens them. She looked around the dark corridor. You were not chosen because of power, she said. Not because of strength. Not even because of intelligence. Then why me? Ethan whispered. She met his eyes. Because when humans are pushed, she said, they do not break. A distant alarm sounded somewhere far above. Soft at first, then louder. Lyra stepped back sharply. They're searching the lower levels, she said. Ethan felt panic rise. What should I do? She hesitated. Just for a moment. Then she said, trust me. She placed a small metal disc in his hand. It was warm. When the lights return, she said, walk forward. Do not look back. No matter what you hear. Why are you helping me? He asked. Her voice lowered again. Because I have seen the future paths, she said. And in too many of them, humanity is burning. The lights suddenly flickered. Emergency power surged back into the corridor. When Ethan looked up, she was gone. Only the echo of her whisper remained. And somewhere above, the Empire had begun to move. Ethan did not move for several seconds. The corridor lights hummed softly again. White panels glowed as if nothing strange had happened. The wall he was fixing sealed itself automatically. But his hands were shaking. The princess was gone. No guards. No alarms near him. No proof she had ever been there. Only the small metal disc resting in his palm. It was smooth and warm, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. Ethan closed his fingers around it. Trust me, she had said. He took a slow breath and began walking forward. Each step felt heavy. He expected guards to appear at any second. He expected weapons aimed at his head. But the corridor remained empty. When he reached the main service lift, it opened on its own. That alone made his stomach tighten. The lift carried him down into the lower human sector. Only when the doors closed did he allow himself to breathe. Across the station, high above the worker levels, Princess Lyra Vale stood inside a dark observation chamber. Holographic screens floated around her. On each one, data streams, timelines, and symbols far older than her empire. She was not supposed to be here. This chamber was forbidden even to royalty. But she had been coming here in secret for months. At the center of the room hovered an ancient sphere made of black crystal. The Oracle Core, a relic from a dead civilization that once ruled half the galaxy. It did not predict the future clearly. It showed possibilities. Millions of them. Most species appeared as faint shadows inside the visions. But humans burned like stars. Lyra activated the core again. The images shifted. War, fire, broken fleets, alien cities falling into silence. And always humans standing in the center. Not ruling, not celebrating, surviving. The core had begun repeating one signal again and again. A name, Ethan Cross. She had searched every human database quietly, watched his routines, his habits, his calm way of fixing broken systems while chaos lived above him. He did not look special. that frightened her more than anything, because destiny never chose heroes who looked powerful. Ethan returned to his sleeping unit late. Other humans sat quietly on metal bunks, tired from long shifts. No one noticed him enter. He lay down but did not sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard her voice again. They are asking questions about you. The next morning, everything felt wrong. Security drones hovered lower. Alien guards stopped humans more often. Scanning, recording, watching. At midday, Ethan's name appeared on a station screen. Ethan Cross, report for identity confirmation. His chest tightened. That had never happened before. He touched the metal disc in his pocket. Pulsed once, then twice. A soft vibration. The words Lyra had spoken returned to his mind. Walk forward. Do not look back. He stood and followed the hallway signs. But halfway there, the disc grew warm. Hot. Painfully hot. Then a voice whispered inside his head. Not loud. Not alien. Human. Turn left. Ethan froze. No one else reacted. He slowly turned left. The disc cooled. His path now led through old maintenance tunnels rarely used. Security drones passed the main hall where he had been walking moments before. His mouth went dry. The disc was guiding him. Someone or something was helping him. Far above, Lyra watched through hidden channels. The Oracle core shimmered wildly. New paths were forming. Dangerous ones. The Council had noticed the anomaly. They did not know Ethan's future, but they feared humanity's potential. And fear made empires cruel. The High Council gathered in a circular chamber of black stone. Their voices echoed coldly. A single human cannot threaten us, one elder said. Yet the Oracle shows instability, another replied. Then remove the variable, the first said. An order was passed. Capture the human. Not to kill him, to study him, to understand why humans refused to obey fate. Lyra clenched her fists. If they touched his mind, they would break something they could never repair. Not just in him, in humanity. She made a decision that would brand her a traitor. Ethan reached the end of the tunnel. A small door slid open. Inside was a hidden transport pod. Old, unmarked, waiting. The disc vibrated again. Get inside, the voice said. He hesitated. I don't even know who you are, he whispered. The reply came softly. I am what remains of those who failed to stop the Empire once. The pod powered on. Behind Ethan, boots hit metal. Alien guards. Shouting. Weapons charging. Ethan jumped inside. The door slammed shut. The pod launched violently into space. Lyra felt the station tremble. She knew what she had just done. She had helped a human escape Imperial space. If discovered, she would lose her crown, possibly her life. Yet as she watched the pod vanish into the stars, something strange filled her chest. Hope, because the Oracle core showed something new now. A future where humans did not burn. A future where the galaxy learned fear for the first time, not of alien empires, but of human resolve. And the Council was about to learn the same lesson. The escape pod drifted silently through deep space. Ethan sat alone inside it, hands gripping the edge of the seat. The stars outside looked calm, peaceful, like nothing was wrong. But everything was wrong. The pod had no clear destination, no human markings, no normal control system, only a single screen pulsed with soft blue light. Words appeared slowly. Do not panic. Ethan let out a shaky breath. Easy for you to say, he whispered. The voice returned again, calm and steady. You are safe for now. Who are you? Ethan asked. I am an echo, the voice replied. A remnant of an ancient alliance destroyed by the Veil Dominion. Ethan swallowed. You mean the Empire? Yes. Your species has not yet felt their full control. Others did. We resisted. We failed. The screen changed. Images appeared. Planets burning. Cities breaking apart. Fleets crushed. They fear you, the voice continued. Why? Ethan asked. I don't even understand what's happening. Because humans do not follow prediction, the echo said. You adapt. The pod suddenly shook. Red lights flashed. Tracking signal detected. Ethan's heart jumped. They found me already? Yes, the voice said. The princess delayed them, but not for long. Outside the window, far behind, tiny lights appeared. Ships, fast ones. Back on Virex Prime, the High Council chamber thundered with anger. Princess Lyra stood alone in the center. No crown, no guards, only judgment. You broke imperial law, one elder hissed. You aided a classified target, another said. A human, a third spat. Lyra lifted her chin. He is not a weapon, she said. That is exactly why he is dangerous, the elder replied. Weapons can be controlled. Silence filled the chamber. The Oracle core shows instability whenever humans are involved, the council continued. They evolve under pressure. They grow stronger through suffering. Lyra's voice remained calm. So do many species. Yes, the elder replied. But only humans choose to stand when logic says they should kneel. The council's final decision echoed coldly. You are stripped of command. Gasps rippled across the chamber. You will remain under watch, they said. If the human survives, you will answer for it. Lyra said nothing, but inside, fear burned. Not for herself, for Ethan. The escape pod shuddered again. Energy beams sliced past the hull. Ethan was thrown sideways. I can't fight them, he shouted. You do not need to, the echo replied. A hidden panel opened. A strange device slid forward. This is a human interface, the voice said. Ethan stared. But this isn't human tech. It was built by studying your species, the echo replied. Because humans think differently. Ethan placed his hand on the surface. The system came alive instantly. Routes appeared. Power options. Improvisation paths. Ethan's eyes widened. This made sense. He rerouted energy manually. The pod surged forward, moving in unpredictable patterns. The alien ships struggled to follow. They can't predict this, Ethan said. No, the echo replied. Because you are not choosing the safest path. Ethan clenched his jaw. I'm choosing the one that keeps me alive. The pod dove through an asteroid field. Rocks exploded around him. The pursuing ships slowed. Two crashed. One continued. A massive Hunter-class vessel. They won't stop, Ethan whispered. They cannot, the echo said. You are now classified as a level 1 existential variable. What does that mean? Ethan asked. It means, the voice replied, the Empire believes your future could destroy them. Ethan stared at the stars. I never wanted this. No human ever does, the echo answered. On a distant world, deep within human-controlled space, alarms began to ring. Long-unused satellites detected foreign movement. Unknown vessels approaching. Human command centers lit up. Generals watched silently. Are they hostile? One asked. No weapons fired yet, another replied. A third officer leaned forward. They're scanning our territory. The room grew tense. Humans remembered history. They did not panic. They prepared. The escape pod crossed the final boundary. Human space. The alien ship followed, violating every treaty. That single act triggered something ancient. Human defense systems activated. Not flashy. Not elegant. Just effective. Missiles launched. The alien vessel vanished in silent fire. Ethan stared through the window as debris drifted away. The pod slowed. The screen flashed new words. "Welcome to human territory." He slumped back in his seat. He was alive, but he felt it deep in his bones. This was only the beginning. Far away, Princess Lyra watched the same moment through hidden data. When the alien ship was destroyed, the Council erupted in fury. "A human weapon system destroyed Imperial craft," they shouted. Lyra spoke softly. "No," she said. "That was defense." The elders fell silent. For the first time, doubt appeared. Because one truth had become clear. Humans did not chase dominance. But if threatened, they responded. And somewhere in the stars, a single human technician had crossed a line the Empire could never uncross. The escape pod landed on Earth during sunrise. Golden light touched the landing field as steam rose from the ground. Soldiers surrounded the pod within seconds. Weapons were raised, but not shaking. Humans did not panic. They waited. The pod door opened slowly. Ethan stepped out with his hands visible. "I'm human," he said quickly. "I came from Virex Prime." A moment passed. Then a voice answered. "We know," a commander said. "You're the reason half our satellites lit up last night." Ethan was escorted inside a secure facility deep beneath the ground. Doctors checked him. Engineers scanned the strange device he carried. No one shouted. No one treated him like a monster. They listened. When Ethan finished telling his story, the room fell silent. An old general finally spoke. "So," he said slowly, "an empire across the galaxy thinks humanity might be dangerous." "Yes," Ethan replied. The general gave a small smile. "They're not wrong." News spread quietly across Earth. Not publicly. Not yet. But every government knew. Alien ships had crossed human borders. One had been destroyed. The message was clear. The galaxy was watching humanity now. Emergency councils were called. Scientists worked non-stop. Old defense programs, once thought unnecessary, were reactivated. Not to attack, to prepare. Humans had learned long ago that peace without strength never lasted. Far away, Princess Lyra stood alone inside her quarters. Her windows showed the endless stars. She had been stripped of command. Her guards replaced with watchers. Yet the Oracle Core still responded to her presence. She activated it one last time. The visions changed. Not destruction. Not victory. Something harder. Resistance. Humans standing together. Not as conquerors, but as a wall. A wall the Empire could not simply step over. Her chest tightened. She knew what the Council would do next. They would not negotiate. They would test humanity. The test came sooner than expected. A massive alien fleet appeared near the edge of human space. Not attacking, just waiting. A silent threat. Human sensors tracked every movement. On Earth, command rooms glowed with holograms. Admirals stood still. No shouting. No fear. One question echoed. "What do we do?" A younger officer spoke carefully. "They outnumber us." The old general replied calmly. "Then we make them count every ship." Human fleets launched. Not many. Not impressive. Rough metal ships. Simple designs. But each one carried decades of human thinking. Redundancy. Backup plans. Adaptation. The fleets stopped at the border. They did not fire. They did not retreat. They waited. Ethan watched from a command station. He was not a soldier, but they kept him close. Because every time alien systems behaved strangely, his device reacted first. "It's like they're probing us," he said. "Yes," the general replied. "They're trying to measure fear." Ethan looked at the human crews. Pilots joked quietly. Engineers drank cold coffee. No one looked afraid. "They won't find it," Ethan said. Across the void, the alien commanders grew confused. Humans did not act like other species. They did not beg. They did not posture. They did not rush. They simply stayed. After hours of silence, an alien message arrived. A demand. "Withdraw or be destroyed." Human command replied with only one sentence. "This is our space." The alien fleet moved forward. One ship crossed the border. Human weapons locked. Still no fire. The ship moved closer. Then closer. Finally, one human defense platform activated. A single shot. Precise. The alien ship lost engines and drifted powerless. No explosion. No deaths. Just control. The message was clear. Humans could end this, but chose not to. The alien fleet pulled back slightly. Confusion rippled through their command. They had expected rage. Or fear. They found restraint. On the council world, the elders argued fiercely. "Humans are provoking us," one said. "No," another replied. "They are warning us." Princess Lyra listened from her chamber. She whispered softly to herself. "This is how they fight." Days passed. The standoff remained. Then the Empire made its mistake. They sent a strike group toward a human colony world. Not to destroy, to scare. The moment the fleet appeared, human response changed. Every ship moved at once. No debate. No delay. Human fleets surged forward like a single mind. The battle was short. Not because humans were stronger. Because they learned faster. Every alien tactic was countered within minutes. When the battle ended, the alien strike group retreated, damaged and shaken. Human losses were heavy, but the line held. On Earth, the general spoke quietly. "They wanted to test us." Ethan looked at the screen showing damaged colonies. "They just taught us," he replied. Far across space, Princess Lyra felt the Oracle core flare brighter than ever. The future shifted again. Not toward destruction, but toward something far more dangerous. Unity. Humanity was no longer alone, and the Empire had just taught them how to fight back. She whispered a prayer her people had forgotten long ago. "For the first time," she said softly, "I fear we have awakened them." The battle did not begin with shouting. It began with silence. Across human space, warning lights turned red at the same time. Sensors detected a massive movement, far larger than before. This was not a test. The alien empire had arrived. Thousands of ships emerged from folded space. Their hulls shone like living metal. Entire stars seemed to dim behind them. On Earth, command rooms fell quiet. The general stared at the display. "This is not a message," he said. "This is punishment." Ethan stood nearby, his device glowing violently. "They believe we crossed a future line," he said. "They think we must be stopped now." Human fleets moved out. Every ship, every platform, every defense ring. Not enough to win. Enough to stand. Princess Lyra watched the armada from orbit above her homeworld. The council had locked her away, but not before forcing her to witness. "Observe," an elder said coldly. "This is what happens when prophecy is ignored." Lyra clenched her fists. "You're about to create the future you fear," she said. They ignored her. The first shots came from the Empire. Beams of light tore through space. Human shields flared. Some failed. Ships burned. Pilots did not retreat. They closed ranks. They adapted. When alien weapons changed frequency, human systems adjusted within minutes. Not perfect, but fast. Very fast. Ethan watched in horror as names vanished from the screen. Friends. Engineers. People who had laughed hours earlier. "They're dying," he whispered. The general nodded once. "Yes," he said, "but not running." The Empire expected collapse. They did not expect resistance to grow stronger with loss. Every destroyed human ship triggered new tactics. Drone swarms launched. Improvised weapons activated. Old mining lasers were repurposed into defensive walls. Nothing fancy. Everything effective. Alien commanders began to argue. They're learning too quickly. They're not supposed to do that. Fear crept into voices that had never known it. Then the Empire made its second mistake. They targeted Earth. Not to destroy it. To force surrender. A massive weapon began charging, capable of cracking continents. Human command went silent. All eyes turned to the general. He did not hesitate. "Transmit to all fleets," he said. His voice remained calm. "Protect Earth at all cost." Someone asked quietly, "Even if we lose everything?" The general answered softly, "We already decided that long ago." Human ships surged forward. Not in order. Not in formation. They threw themselves between Earth and the weapon. Alien fire cut through them. Ships exploded. Debris filled space. But the beam never reached the planet. Because humans kept placing themselves in front of it. Again. And again. And again. Ethan watched tears fall onto the console. "They're dying for me," he said. "No," the general replied. "They're dying because that's what humans do." Across the galaxy, sensors recorded something impossible. A species with weaker technology refusing extinction. Not by strength, but by choice. The Oracle core screamed. Princess Lyra broke free of her restraints as the chamber shook. The visions changed rapidly. The Empire burning. Not today, not tomorrow, but someday, because fear had entered their enemies. And fear changed decisions. She ran. She stole a ship. She broke every law she had left, and set course for Earth. The alien superweapon failed. Overloaded by constant interruption. The human fleets were shattered. But Earth still lived. The Empire pulled back. Not in victory. Not in defeat. In shock. Silence followed. Long and heavy. Human space was scarred. But standing. On Earth, the general removed his cap. "We survived," he said. Ethan stared at the stars. "But now they truly hate us." The general nodded. "Yes." Then he added, "And now they truly fear us." Princess Lyra arrived days later. Alone. No fleet. No guards. She landed openly. When human soldiers surrounded her, she stepped forward and lowered her head. "I am not your enemy," she said. "I came because my people crossed a line." Ethan stepped forward. "You tried to stop them." She met his eyes. "And now I will finish what I started." Above them, the sky was calm. But the galaxy had changed. Because for the first time in history, an empire had learned that humans would rather burn together than kneel alone. Earth was quiet after the war. Not peaceful. Quiet in the way a battlefield becomes silent after the noise fades. Cities still stood. Oceans still moved. People still lived their normal lives. But something invisible had changed. Humanity was no longer unknown. The galaxy had learned their name. Princess Lyra stood inside the human council chamber. No chains. No guards behind her. Only watchful eyes. She had come alone. Not as royalty, but as truth. "I did not come to ask forgiveness," she said calmly. "I came to prevent the next war." Some humans did not trust her. Some hated her. But all listened, because she had chosen Earth when her empire did not. Lyra placed a small crystal device on the table. "This is the Oracle Core's final echo," she said. "The future paths are collapsing." Ethan stepped closer. "What does that mean?" "It means," she replied, "the future is no longer decided." The room went silent. Far away, The alien High Council gathered once more. They were afraid now, not because of human weapons, but because prediction no longer worked. The Oracle Core no longer gave clear visions. Every future involving humans ended in uncertainty, and uncertainty was something empires could not control. They must be destroyed, one elder demanded. Another hesitated. They held their ground against us. They suffered greatly. Yes, the elder snapped, and they still stood. Fear spread through the chamber. Not loud, not open, but real. They voted. One final strike. Total force. No warnings. Ethan felt it before the alarms. The strange device he carried vibrated hard. "They're coming," he said. "How many?" the general asked. Ethan swallowed. "All of them." Above Earth, space folded. The largest fleet ever formed filled the sky. Planets across the system dimmed under its shadow. Humans prepared again. But this time, they knew they could not win by force. Princess Lyra closed her eyes. "The Oracle showed one last path," she whispered. "What path?" Ethan asked. "One that requires trust." She asked to speak directly to the Alien Council. A single transmission channel opened. The galaxy watched. Lyra stood alone before the camera. "You fear humans," she said. "You fear what they may become." The elders replied coldly. "They are chaos." "No," Lyra said. "They are choice." She turned slightly and gestured. Ethan stepped beside her. "A human," she said, "was never chosen to rule the galaxy. He was chosen to protect it." The elders laughed. Then Lyra whispered something ancient. The Oracle Core activated. Across the galaxy, every predictive system shut down. Every future map vanished. Every controlled outcome collapsed. The elders screamed in fury. "What have you done?" "I freed the future," Lyra replied. "You can no longer see what comes next." The channel cut. The alien fleet froze. They had lost their greatest weapon. Certainty. Human fleets moved forward slowly. Not attacking. Not threatening. Just present. Ethan spoke softly. "They don't know what we'll do." The general nodded. "And that scares them more than any weapon." The Empire hesitated. For the first time in its history, it did not know the outcome. Minutes passed. Then a signal came. Retreat. One by one, alien ships turned away. Not defeated, but unwilling to risk the unknown. The war ended without a final shot. Days later, peace talks began. Not because the Empire had lost, but because it could no longer control the future. Humans were granted equal standing. Not workers, not subjects, a species with voice. Princess Lyra stood before her people and removed her crown. "I choose exile," she said, "not punishment." Her people watched in silence, some in shame, some in respect. Ethan met her afterward beneath an open sky. "You gave up everything," he said. She smiled gently. "I gained something better." "What?" "Hope." She leaned closer, just as she had on the station long ago, and whispered softly, "I watched you because fate told me to." She paused. "Now I stay because I choose to." Years passed. Humans explored freely, not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as equals. The galaxy slowly adjusted. Old empires learned restraint. Young species learned courage. And somewhere in history, one truth became legend, that when the galaxy tried to control humanity's future, humanity chose its own, and that choice changed the stars forever.